Her question is muscle memory a real thing? The idea around muscle memory is essentially that because you've worked out in the past, your body will be able to get back and adapt to it quickly, and you'll be able to pick up faster than somebody who's brand new. The short answer is yes. If you've done any type of exercise, you've built in, particularly in the capacity of like building muscle, if you've built muscle in the past, it's extremely hard to lose muscle. People get really worried when they're in a calorie deficit. A lot of big guys who don't know how to diet, they don't know how to track, they just like lift really hard, they eat a lot of food, they're probably a little chunky, but they got a ton of muscle on them and they're super strong. Those guys are oftentimes really scared to cut because they are worried that they're going to lose muscle. And that's just not the case. You would have to be actively trying to self-sabotage to lose muscle. What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Taylor Hinton Speaks His Mind on this beautiful Wednesday, November 19th in beautiful British Columbia. It's cold out, but it's not raining, which is nice. And real quick update on everything that's going on my side of things. I think I need to start sharing a little bit more about this, but I'm doing the Hyrox Vancouver workout competition thingamabob race on December 20th. I'm really excited to do that with a buddy of mine. We were like excited about the idea of the duos. If you guys don't know what Hyrox is, it is a fitness race where you start off with a 1 kilometer run, and then you come back to the main area. There's 8 different stations that you're going to do, and in between each station, you're doing another 1 kilometer run. So I think it's a total of 8. Yeah, total of 8 kilometers that you're running with a bunch of different random stations. The cool thing about Hyrox, the thing that I really can appreciate about it, is that it has this kind of like competition atmosphere. You can do team stuff, so you can bring a friend and you can do it with them. And it doesn't require skill. Like it's very similar. People who have seen CrossFit or have seen either CrossFit or Hyrox, you'll look at them and be like, oh, these are very similar things. They look like they're about the same thing. And in a lot of ways they are. The biggest difference is that Hyrox doesn't require skill, which is great because it gets more people involved. There's people who would probably enjoy doing some type of CrossFit type stuff, but they can't do muscle ups or power cleans or a lot of the other technical exercises that are done in CrossFit. So they take the intensity of CrossFit, they scale down the skill level so that virtually anybody can do it. As long as you have a little bit of cardio, you can get it done. And you just go at your own pace. So I'm really excited for that. Of course, I'm going to try to do my absolute best to beat my friend who's extremely fit, big firefighter guy. So he's got, a lot of good things going for him and his fitness. But then at the same time, it's like, it doesn't matter what he's got going on because I'm a fitness coach. I should be able to crush him. So we'll see how it goes. He does a lot of running, and I'm just getting back into it now just for the sake of having good enough cardio to do this race properly. So let's get into the topic of today, everybody. Today is our live Q&A where clients can pop in live, ask questions. They can drop questions in the DMs with me. They can post questions inside of the post in our community page on EverFit app that we use to work out. Got one here, and then I've got a couple other ones that I'm going to see if I have some time to go through as well. We're going to start off with Sarah Means' question, and her question is muscle memory a real thing, even if you haven't been on a weight loss fitness journey for a long time, for long? Even if you haven't been on a weight loss journey for long. People keep saying, oh, you'll snap back quick because of muscle memory, but I don't even feel like I worked out long enough to build much muscle. Just curious if it's a thing for me or mostly for fit people. So that's a really, really good question because people have heard of like muscle memory before. And the idea around muscle memory is essentially that because you've worked out in the past, your body will be able to get back and adapt to it quickly, and you'll be able to pick up faster than somebody who's brand new. And the answer, like the short answer, is yes. If you've done any type of exercise, you've built in, particularly in the capacity of like building muscle, if you've built muscle in the past, it's extremely hard to lose muscle, just so that you know. Like people get really worried when they're in a calorie deficit. Like a lot of big guys who don't know how to diet, they don't know how to track, they just like lift really hard, they eat a lot of food, they're probably a little chunky, but they got a ton of muscle on them and they're super strong. Those guys are oftentimes really scared to cut because they are worried that they're going to lose muscle. And that's just not the case. Like you would have to be actively trying to self-sabotage to lose muscle. I'm talking about not eating any protein, going from doing a ton of heavy weight training into abandoning weight training altogether, doing a lot of endurance-based exercise, like lots of running, lots of cardio, lots of 10K runs and stuff, again, like not just having low protein, but just having low quality foods in your diet on a regular basis, like making up the majority of your food. So if you just went to like Cheerios and prepackaged foods and stuff that you're just reheating, that's like a bunch of junk. So low protein, low quality diet, completely changing your training style up. Maybe you're drinking a ton and you're getting 4 to 5 hours of sleep. Then yes, for sure, you'll lose muscle eventually. But even then, like you could go a couple weeks like that and you won't lose actual muscle tissue. You'll definitely lose strength. You'll definitely lose like your look, like the tight, firm, strong look that you're having. But in terms of the actual muscle cells themselves going away, it takes a while for that to happen. So for you particularly, Sarah, like, yeah, you're still newer on your fitness journey, but you have built muscle. So you didn't lose that muscle in the last like couple months that you haven't been working out. The muscle tissue is still there. That actual real life tissue is still there. It's just not pumped up with a bunch of glycogen and blood and water what it normally is when you go to the gym. And this is like people will understand what I mean when I say it this way. Like if you haven't worked out for a long time or you're just starting to get into the gym for the first time, and after like a week of going, you're like, wow, I'm building muscle. Like, look at my shoulders, look at my legs. Like, my legs are firm, right? You know that feeling? That's not that you've like, it's not because you've just built a ton of muscle in a week. You're getting the foundations ready for building muscle. But what has actually happened is because you started weight training and exerting your muscles in a certain way to build muscle, in that like we call it hypertrophy, which is that style of training that exerts the muscle tissue to muscular failure. Different from running or different from like 1 rep max strength training. When you're doing this hypertrophy style, typically you're doing somewhere between like 5 and 20 repetitions on the high end. Normally like 5 to 12-ish is a sweet spot for most people. You get a really big burn in the muscle. The next day you're super sore. You feel a lot weaker. What's happening is you're basically taking your muscle, and imagine your muscle as a sponge, and you're wringing it out. When you're in the gym, you're draining all the water out of that muscle. You're squeezing it dry. And then when you go home and you drink more water, maybe you're taking your creatine, you have some salt on your foods, which is really good for nutrient transportation, and you're having a lot of carbohydrates or even just a moderate amount, your body's first priority when you've drained the glycogen, when you've drained out the carbs, when you squeeze that sponge in the gym, your body's first priority when it comes to taking carbs back in is to refill the glycogen stores, is to just let your muscles soak up those carbs. That's the sugar, the water, the creatine, the sodium. Your muscles get really stingy and they start taking from the food. They start, which is good. We want that. And it starts rebuilding that muscle tissue up. And that's why in your first week of you changing up your diet, eating a little bit better, and training your muscles really hard, you start poking your muscles and you're like, wow, I'm building a lot of muscle. My muscles are firm. They're just like bloated with water and sugar, which is good. That's a good thing. And when you stop training really hard, then your muscles aren't exerting. They're not squeezing that sponge out. So they're oversaturated. And there's that spillover effect of now we're eating too many calories. And then those carbs are not going to be put in the muscle because the muscle's topped up. There's no more room. And it has to spill over into your fat stores. So that's kind of like, just to give you a bit of a foundation, some context around like what muscle memory means. When you've already built muscle before and then you haven't trained for a while, you haven't lost muscle. You just lost basically that kind of pump that you have in your muscle all the time, right? You've lost that fullness, that like skin tightening feeling. Your muscles don't feel very firm anymore. That'll happen to me and anyone else who doesn't train for an extended period of time. Like if I don't train for an entire week or a couple weeks, my muscles don't feel very full. When I look in the mirror, they look like softer, flatter. They're not pumped up. My muscles aren't like as round as they normally are. Muscle tissue isn't gone. It's just not like being exerted so that you get that skin tight feeling. So that'll come back within your first week. That's like the quote unquote muscle memory. You're not building new muscle that you didn't have, and you didn't lose a ton of muscle that you're building back. It's just that like the muscles aren't pumped up anymore because you haven't been training for a while. Once you get back into your training again, they'll pump back up. To your second question, or like kind of a secondary part of this question, was just curious if it's just a me thing or mostly for fit people. The fitter somebody is, the more dramatic they're going to notice that change. If you're less fit, you won't notice it as much because you still have some extra body fat. You don't have as much muscle. But when you're pretty damn lean, like lean enough to see your abs without flexing, and you have really good strength numbers, you're pretty adapted, you're pretty advanced in your training. If that person took a month off and then they went back to the gym for a week and you took a photo of them, like 1 week transformation of the very end of 1 month of not exercising versus a full week of exercising again, like 5 days a week in the gym doing some bodybuilding stuff, they would look totally different. Like their muscles look 10 times bigger. They look way more shredded. All of a sudden, it's just simply because they started asking their muscles to do work again. And then those sugars soak up back into the muscle and makes you look nice and full and round, right? Gives you basically just a pump. Is what's happening there. So don't worry, Sarah. Yeah, you do have and there's an element of muscle memory that's going to come back for you in that sense. Like that's what's happening. Everything that I just explained, that's what the muscle memory is. So you're going to be just fine. Don't stress it. Just get back into it. And the real big thing for us is like, let's just zoom out a little bit here and understand that like you had a car accident. You've gone through a ton of really high stress stuff lately in your personal life. And your priority should just be getting back in your habits, not worrying about whether or not you lost muscle and if you're going to get it back. Like, yes, you will build the muscle back. Like going to the gym, training hard is going to build muscle. So regardless of whether or not you lost muscle or not, don't even worry about it because you can't change that. Like that's over. The answer is you didn't lose muscle. Okay. But the reality is that shouldn't be a concern anyways. The concern should be, can I get consistent and get back into the gym? Because I know that when I do the right things, I'm going to see some really good results. Hopefully that answered that. We got Robin online. We got Raven online. Let's see what else we got here. I'm going to pull up some other questions that I took note of. Just give me a second to get this all settled in for y'all. And then we'll dive into this too. Some of these questions have come not necessarily from clients, but from other people who are chatting me up in the DMs. So I want to do my best to help out with that too. So less of a question, more of a statement. Let me answer Ravens that just popped in here. Any hacks on tightening skin after fat loss, after weight loss? Not a ton, to be honest. If your skin has been stretched out from either being obese at one point or having kids, then and your skin is loose, like your skin's going to be loose. It will retract a little bit. Part of it will retract a little bit and get tight again. But there's also a part of it that just literally won't. And people will sell you like some creams or supplements or something to help tighten it up. That might work a little bit. The cream stuff might help for like right now when you put it on, because there's some element of it of like freezing or something that's like making your skin tighten up. Just like if you were really cold, your skin will tighten up, and if you're really hot, then like your skin gets loose, just like everything else. So yeah, there can be like some temporary stuff, but in terms of like how you like the foods that you're eating and how you're training, no. I mean, you could argue that like, of course, eating better quality food is going to give you better results. So maybe your skin responds better if you're eating like really good whole foods all the time. You're sticking with that. But if you have like a decent amount of loose skin, then surgery is going to be like the thing for sure that you're going to need to change. You're going to need to get potentially, whether that's a tummy tuck or just like there's another procedure that's a little bit less intense for people who have like loose skin, but not like tons of extra poundage. And I think that's you in your case, Raven, is like just from pregnancy, you probably have a little bit of loose skin. So yeah, you probably have to get that done with surgery. Nothing else is going to be in terms of like getting a legit like skin tight and back to normal again. You'd have to get surgery for that. Unfortunately, I'd love to tell you that I could fix that for you, but no coach or trainer will be able to do that. We've got Shay, who is going to be signing up today. Really excited for her. In fact, it'll be just an hour and a half or so from now, and she'll be getting her stuff onboarded. And one thing that she mentioned to me that she struggles with was this. Honestly, I snack. I get bored, especially at night, and I have no idea how to curb it. I try to eat proper meals, but I get full fast, so I end up having small snacks throughout the day. So this is a really common problem for a lot of people who are trying to lose weight. It's that they don't really feel super hungry throughout the day, so they don't really eat a whole lot. But then at the end of the night, that's when they settle down, they relax. Stress of the day is kind of worn off. You got an hour, maybe two by yourself or with your partner, kids are in bed, and now you get a chill. So now that you're relaxed and you're not in a stressful state, your stomach starts kicking in. And your stomach's like, all right, cool. Now it's time for us to chill. This is where we need to get our food in. And that's when it's like late night snacking just happens over and over and over and over again. And you start just eating way too much food. So here's how you fix it. First off, you are hungrier than you think during the day. You just don't feel it because you are running around with kids trying to get them to appointments, get them to school, pick them up from school, go to the gym yourself. You've got dinner that you got to make. There's groceries, there's laundry, there's all these things that are going on throughout the day. And so you're in a heightened state of alertness and stress, which stress isn't automatically a bad thing, everybody. Like when you're exercising, your body is physically being stressed. So you need that. You need that cortisol coursing through your veins to get a good workout, right? It's helpful and it's important. It's something that's necessary. But when you're constantly redlining your stress, then your stomach doesn't get an opportunity to tell you that you're hungry because you're focused on the stressful things happening in life. This was really, really helpful back in the caveman days when we were running around because our stresses were we need to get food because we don't have enough for the tribe, and we have saber-toothed tigers trying to eat our babies. Those things are stressful. So stress would kick in and hunger would plummet, and you're focusing on that life or death situation. Now, like we still have those primal responses in our human bodies, but we don't have those same types of problems. We still get stressed, but our stress is different. It's not a saber-toothed tiger eating the babies anymore. It's your boss is yelling at you, you're behind on assignments, and you're worried about keeping your job or whatever else, relationship stuff. There's a million different things that we get really stressed about. But your body still responds in the same way, which is turn off hunger, focus on the alert task at hand right now. So what you need to do is recognize that, like, even though you're feeling stressed throughout the day, your body still needs fuel. And this is, again, another, I can say a million amazing things about tracking your food and understanding how many calories you're bringing in. But when you understand that I've only had 300 calories today, it is now 4 p.m., I know that I don't have enough fuel in me so far, then you've set yourself up for failure. You've set yourself up to have a ton of food at the end of the night because your body is going to self-regulate. And when stress finally kicks down even just a little bit, that's when your body's like, all right, time to start signaling to get food in. And we eat and we eat and we eat. And now, again, being in 2025, not saber-toothed tiger times, we have all this super delicious, highly palatable food that scientists have created in a lab to make as addicting as possible. Like your body is designed to eat food until you've eaten enough calories, and then it signals to your brain, stop eating food, we've had enough. But science is so advanced now that it can basically override that fullness cue and make you keep eating and eating and eating with this perfect combination of sugar, salt, and fat. And there's a really good book on it. You can look that up if you want. Instead of having, high quality foods, if you're obese or overweight, you're probably not eating a lot of good quality foods. You probably have a lot of processed, shitty, highly palatable stuff that makes you want to eat more. Now, at the end of the day, you've only had 300 calories. You raid the cupboard for food. The food that's available is stuff that makes you want to eat even more, so you never actually feel full, and you just eat and eat and eat and eat. And that's how people gain weight. So to fix this, what you need to do is first understand how many calories you should be taking in for the day. Second, start to divide up those calories into 3 equal meals, or maybe 3.5, meaning that for me, I have about 2,500 calories a day that I eat. I'm going to split up those meals equally into about 700 calorie portions, 700 to 800 calorie portions. And that means that at the end of the day, I still have a few hundred calories left over, and that's how I fit ice cream into my diet every day. But I've hit my protein and my whole foods through 3 other nice meals, and then a small portion of those calories, a small percentage of those calories goes towards the ice cream at the end of the day. And that allows me to stay on track with my fitness, keep my abs all year round, never feel cravings for shit because I'm having some processed food at the end of every single night, but just in a small enough amount that it's not going to impact my fitness. So that's how you can kind of hack it. You need to figure out how many calories you need to eat throughout the day. You need to divide those calories up into 3 equal meals. You got to eat those fucking meals whether you're hungry or not, and then stick with it. Like it's do these things, but then do it over a long time horizon, because it's not going to get fixed in 1 week of you doing this. Another thing that's going to help a lot is making sure that you're getting enough protein, fiber, and water in your diet every single day, especially in the morning. Like when you wake up in the morning before you make your coffee, maybe it's right after you take your shit in the morning, You're chugging a liter of water. Like, get your body hydrated. You've had 8 hours of not sipping on any water at all, minimum 6 through sleep. Kick your body off in the right way by having a giant thing of water to get everything set up. Okay? It's also, we generally aren't drinking enough water. Like, everybody that I work with could probably drink more water. I have a handful of clients that actually drink enough water, and it's the easiest fucking thing ever. It's fucking free. Just pour it out of the tap and chug it. Stop complaining. Drink your damn water. It's also going to regulate your hunger. And food, think about it this way too. Food in your stomach is also kind of like a sponge. It's actually going to soak up some of that water. So when you drink a bunch of water and you got water sloshing around in your stomach, and then you throw a bunch of food in there with a nice high quality meal with a lot of protein, that food, including the protein stuff, is going to soak up that water. And that's going to expand just like a sponge. It's going to expand in your stomach. And it's going to make you feel more full for the same amount of calories. So you're getting hydrated, which you're already dehydrated. We already know that. And you're going to feel more full on less calories because you're in a calorie deficit to lose weight. Okay? Fiber itself takes a very long... Actually, your body can't digest fiber, right? We all know that. So fiber is a very long string of a bunch of different chemicals. Like all of our food, everything that we consume is a chemical. Water, H2O, it's a chemical, right? So fiber, unlike sugar, they're both carbohydrates. First off, let's start there. Fiber and just straight up like sugar that you would put in your coffee are both carbohydrates. So if you have like 200 grams of carbs to eat for the day, you can have some sugar, you can have some beans. They both are ultimately going to get broken down into their simplest form, which is glucose. And that's in the bloodstream, and then it gets stored into your muscle as glycogen. It's the same thing, just where it's being stored or where it's currently residing. Both fiber and sugar break down into that simple form, but sugar already is pretty much glucose. It's like, it's one step away. It's right there. So in terms of like how long it takes to digest, i.e. how long it's going to sit in your stomach, i.e. how long it's going to keep you feeling full for, which one do you think is going to keep you feeling more full? Straight up sugar that's one step away from turning into glucose, or fiber, which has a ton of different vitamins and minerals and all these different chemical combinations inside of them? That one, the fiber. The fiber is going to, the beans that have a lot of fiber in them, it's a complex type of carbohydrate. Complex meaning that there's more chains of chemicals that are tied together to make it what it is. Sugar is one step removed from being glucose. So you ingest it, and like seconds later, boom, it's in your bloodstream. Didn't take a lot to digest, didn't fill you up. The beans are going to turn into the sugar eventually, but it has to be broken down. There's so many different steps that your body has to take to get it to that ultimate glucose part. So if you have more beans and less sugar, this is just one example. There's plenty of fiber in other foods. Like have your bananas and your other fruit and your veggies, your potatoes, your grains. Like it all gets broken down into sugar. All carbs get broken down into sugar. But the ones that are more complex, the ones that have more chemical chains, is going to take longer to digest, meaning it has to sit in your stomach longer so you stay fuller longer. So have more fiber in your diet. When you do that, you're going to have less snackiness happening in the day, and you're going to be less hungry and snacky at the end of the night because you're eating more calories earlier in the day. Protein, very satiating as well. You say that you're not hungry throughout the day, that's fine. Eat even though you're not hungry, because right now, you can't just go off of by feel, because by feel has got you to a place where you now need help to reduce body fat. So you have to go against your intuition right now. And because your intuition is like, I don't need to eat, I'm not hungry. Fuck it. Eat. Have the 4 eggs in the morning, have the protein shake, a couple hours after that, have 200 grams of chicken breast after that for lunch, and then have a big bowl of beef and potatoes before bed for dinner. Lots of protein in your day, especially front loading your day with protein, is going to help reduce cravings later at night. That protein is going to keep you feeling satiated. You know that, like, when people say, maybe you're this person too, where you're like, I'm not hungry for, and then it's followed by something else, typically something that's whole foods, high in protein or fiber, but you're hungry enough for dessert, right? Next time you think you're hungry, ask yourself, like, can I eat plain chicken breast right now? Like, am I ready to have just like a plate of chicken breast with some salt and pepper on it? If you are, you're like, then you're hungry. But most people aren't hungry for plain chicken breast. Most people are hungry for something sweet and delicious. So you're not actually hungry, you're just bored, or you haven't eaten enough earlier in the day. Your body's telling you we need to get something in. So when you can partition your meals out in like relatively equally, break up your protein. If you need to eat 150 grams of protein, have 3 meals with 50 grams each, roughly. Really simple. And then that's going to help regulate your hunger at the end of the night, because when you're eating a lot of good quality whole foods with lots of protein and lots of fiber, then at the end of the day, you've already eaten, instead of having only 300 calories by 4, you've had 12 or 1,300 calories by 4. You're going to be less inclined to eat some shit food at the end of the day. And having shit food isn't the end of the world. I do it every day. I have ice cream every day. But it's a small percentage of my overall calories, and I know how much to have because I'm sticking to tracking my food. And that helps me stay lean all year, give me enough energy, give me the strength that I need throughout the day. That's how you do it. Robin's like, I must be one of those clients who drinks enough water. I hope so. That's it, everybody. Hope you got some value out of this. Have an amazing Wednesday. I'll see you on Friday for Form Friday. Peace out.